All right, everybody. It is 11 a.m. on a Thursday, which means it's time for My LoSo Lifestyle with Mary Schepp. And of course, if you're on the video live streams today, you can see that she has a group of guests, and they're all eating a wonderful, wonderful array of dishes. It's a happy holiday special. Mary, good morning.
Good morning. So this is my holiday special. This is my 216 family. Obviously, everybody knows the voice of Pete, who, if you watch my earlier episodes, you would actually have seen Pete's face. And then we've got Derek from Gold Shield, who's a sponsor of the show. He's been on the other shows. He's been on Anything Goes with Bremer and Jones, and he's also my personal HVAC guy. So there's that. I got Stephanie from Steph's Bookkeeping. If you need an accountant, but not the tax part, think of a bookkeeper, because you don't realize how much bookkeeping actually does until you talk to a bookkeeper. So Steph from Steph's Books. And I got, this is Kent, who's normally our peanut gallery, which, in an effort to hide our peanut gallery, he's hiding behind the station fern.
It's my Zoom profile.
You ever seen Tim Allen with the
right?
Exactly. Every time he does it, it reminds me of Tim.
So this, I wanted to.
Wilson?
Yeah, Wilson.
Wilson. That's hilarious. Hey, where are we on? What station are we on here?
My LoSo Lifestyle.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
My page doesn't want to refresh because it doesn't like anybody, so I'm not sharing it to anyone at all. So.
And by the way, big shout out to our good friend Fred Dudek.
Oh yeah.
Lil Bird Kitchens as I'm eating one of his dilly sprouts. Amazing.
I can't wait. I'm about to dive into it myself. So.
Amazing. So Fred, Lil Bird Kitchens, awesome. Bless you.
The Brussels sprouts are
so good.
I would swim in that little bucket of Brussels sprouty heaven because they're fantastic. So we're doing a Thanksgiving kind of station meal, and the whole point of this was that nothing is ever perfect in life or in food. So I wanted a Thanksgiving meal, but of course the zombie apocalypse put the kibosh on that.
Couldn't get toilet paper either.
I know, man. We're all screwed later. If this pasticcio goes through us, we're like, whew.
That's why you just put up a day in.
Right. So,
We had a big conversation about that a couple weeks ago.
we made a bit of a potluck here. So Steph brought some sweet potatoes. Kent brought some garlic mashed potatoes. Derek brought some pasticcio and some tomatas, which are Greek grape leaves, which
those are incredible.
I don't know if you've ever been to any kind of deli, whether it's Greek or not. A lot of times they have the rolled stuffed grape leaves, and it's amazing.
It's fantastic.
But you have it from a Greek mom, and it's a different level. And my husband is probably wanting to text me right now saying he's going to file for divorce purely by me saying it's on a whole other level. He hates that statement with every fiber of his being. But I'm not kidding you. There is a huge difference between authentic food made from an authentic person of that heritage, whether it's Hispanic food or Greek food or Italian food. When you have that, it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic, which is probably going to kill me later. But in honor of respecting me, she made it super low sodium as you could possibly make it. And as a girl who hasn't had salt in 5 years, thank you very much, because it is fantastic and it is low sodium.
I don't know how you keep them things rolled up like that. It's amazing.
The process that, this is my mother-in-law. So my wife is Greek, born in Greece. Her whole family is Greek. They're from a small island called Chios. And when you make Yaya, which is grandma, and my mother-in-law make these things, the way that they just roll and mash, it's incredible. It's a piece of artwork. And it's like, I always thought it's a sweet, savory, like it's supposed to be a little saltier, but it's like a piece of candy. I can literally just pop them in all day long, and they're amazing. And you'd never think Grape Sleeves would taste that good, but
they do.
It's crazy.
This is the first time I've had these, and I would definitely have them again. So next
so
year, we're
addictive.
just going to come over to your house
we have
for
a whole,
Thanksgiving.
Right?
Yeah, it's kind of, this is my normal Greek food that I have whenever she cooks, and she always has this stuff. I cannot thank my mother-in-law enough. I could call her right now and say, hey, I need you up here to make some food. She'll be here. And
I spilled the plate. Can you make another one and bring it here? Be like, all right, give me an hour.
She's the most wonderful person in the world. So thank you, Marietta.
Looks
Love
like
you.
your other half is watching, Derek.
Oh,
hey, Art.
knows.
No,
My dad's watching. Tad's
It's
watching.
kind
Hey,
of
Dad.
tiny, yes.
So yesterday was
my Zoom. It's my Zoom profile. It's
So my dad, who always watches, everybody knows that. Yesterday was his birthday.
Hey, happy
Happy
birthday!
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
So, obviously I'm not flying to Florida right now. Normally I go down in November, but again, the stupid zombies stop that. So that in my store, but
It's a Greek thing. Right?
Since I couldn't be with him, I made a soup that he taught me how to make as a little girl. And it's funny because when I'm sitting down eating this soup last night, and I asked my husband, I said, you should try it with a shot of ketchup in it. He says, you're a communist. I said, no, seriously. So I explained to him when I was a little girl, it's navy bean soup. And as a kid, someone hands you a bowl of bean soup. You're like, and you okay.
Probably should stay away from me for the rest of the day.
But at the same time, But at the same time, my dad just, if you make it from scratch, you got to soak the beans, and it's a big process. You got to sort the beans, clean the beans, all whatever, and the ham hock and the whole 9 yards. So my dad, being, a dad, and you think on the fly, comes over and squirts a big old squirt of ketchup in my soup, stirs it up, and there it goes. It's fixed. Sure enough, I was like, all right, added just enough sweetness. And from that day on, I have a squirt of ketchup in my navy bean soup. So since I couldn't be in Florida, I made navy bean soup yesterday for my husband and I. And of course, my husband ate an entire bowl of it and said, holy crap, this is like, crack. And
with the ketchup?
He actually did try a shot of ketchup, and he kind of shook his head and went, okay, I get it. So I brought some for you guys, but with all of the food that we have, and I made, because I couldn't do turkey, long story short, it just wasn't in the cards. So I made stuffed mushrooms, which apparently everybody says are very good as well.
Friggin' fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, for a low sodium.
No salt at all.
Okay, no salt at all. Probably one of the most tasteful mushrooms I've had in a really, really long time. Like I love stuffed mushrooms. Mushrooms are one of my favorite foods in general. But
smiling is my favorite.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, nobody knows because they can't see you other than your forehead smiling.
That's right.
So, but honestly, Mary, this thing is incredible. Tons of flavor to it. I would eat this every day, not even knowing that it has no salt in it or anything. It's incredible.
And that's always my goal. So the sausage that I made to go in those stuffed mushrooms came from Calc's Butcher in Crystal Lake. Because unless I drive all the way out to one of my farmer friends up in Hebron and get some pork, the only option that I have is to go to the butcher and get fresh ground pork, because pork at the grocery store has a brine, which means it's a 10% salt solution, which is problematic. So as I'm there, there's literally a guy standing there listening to my conversation with the owners, because I know the owners. So Mel asks how I'm doing and this, that, and the other, what I'm in for. And I said, I need some ground pork for my show. And you guys should listen in, because I'm going to talk about your butcher on my show. So then, of course, the guy's like, well, what show? Well, I have as weird as it sounds, I have a show for talking about not eating salt. This is low sodium. And he looks at me and says, you got to be shitting me. Like, what? No. Like, why would I randomly say that to a stranger? Like, that's an odd lie to think of. And he says, I was just diagnosed pre-hypertensive, and my doctor said I have to stop eating salt. What are the odds that I'm going to run into a dude at the butcher? So we were talking about it, and lo and behold, same thing. They always get this look on their face. Like, why do you have to come here for pork? Because you can't buy it at the what do you mean I can't buy it at the grocery store? Look at the package next time, because it's going to say 300 milligrams per serving versus 80. So if you can only have 2,000 milligrams a day, and back to my earlier shows, if you go based on money, so if you can spend $2,000 a day, and you can either spend $80 getting it from a butcher, or you can spend $350 getting it from a grocery store, where are you going to go? And that's the same with chicken and poultry and turkey and everything else. I have no choice but to get it from those places. And the look of like complete despair on his face, like he just took his candy bar. What the fuck am I going to eat? So you're telling me I got to make everything? Maybe. I just think it depends on how. Oh, hey, Kiki. So
that's my lovely wife.
Yes, and thank your mother for the fantastic food, because it's absolutely delicious. I love every second.
Totally delicious. I mean, it's got Pete being quiet over there.
Right. Pete's over there stuffing his face. Oh, and I also had to, somewhere at this point we have chocolate. It's my cheater French silk pie. So if you looked at the event today,
a little chocolate.
The picture for our event today was a chocolate French silk pie which normally has eggs in it.
Moose.
And I don't really care for that. And plus it makes it more difficult to make and without the egg splitting, blah, blah, blah. So I cheat
It's a whole thing.
and make it differently.
We should have opened these before the show. They're so loud.
Are you going in? Are you going in? on it?
Everybody
Well,
going
yeah,
on.
I want to.
We're gonna go in now.
I'm still leaving my
I'm still in the middle. I do
I
that
could switch
because
back and
I'm
forth.
saving it.
I'm the kind of guy.
I can too, but I want
That's
to get the
dessert.
flavors of everything like really good. You know.
See, I'm the kind of guy who can mix everything together.
Yeah.
Put it in a bowl, mix it up, and
I brought in stuffed manicotti and he ate it like a burrito. Straight up cold out of the
I
thing.
would have
Like
done the same way.
Is this like a dark chocolate?
it, well, yeah.
It's like a bittersweet.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. We talk
Good.
about mashing foods together and stuff like that, and you're talking about adding ketchup into the
Mhm.
bean soup. My weird thing, and not a lot of people know this, mac and cheese.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I will eat it with peanut butter. So I will when you actually boil the
You are a
macaroni.
peanut butter slut though.
I love Mary knows that. I love anything peanut butter. I'll put peanut butter on pizza. I don't really care. It sounds
Smooth.
gross, but I don't
Not
care.
chunky.
Oh,
Not
there's
chunky.
Fred.
I like
Smooth.
both, but I like chunky in sandwiches. I like
Fred.
smooth on everything else.
So that's
But
the guy
that's
that
it.
made the Brussels sprouts.
Oh, nice. They're
And for-
fantastic.
they were amazing, by the
Yeah.
way. So just FYI.
Okay, peanut butter.
So what you do is you take and you put the peanut butter in while it's boiling, and then
Oh.
it actually kind of like reduces it down, and it absorbs in there, and you get this nutty pasta out of it, and then you put the cheese on there. So my brother was like, "Oh, that sounds disgusting! Like, no way! I can't eat. He can't eat it without peanut butter now going forward at all."
That's funny.
Which is the most funny thing about it.
I'm
It's
allergic
amazing.
to
Can't knock
peanut
it till you try
butter.
it.
Lisa, you're literally
allergic
a
to
few
peanuts?
minutes away.
No.
Bring your ass down to the studio and get a
Right.
stuffed grape leaf.
Telling you.
Seriously.
You just hop
Okay,
in your
just come on
car.
down, Lisa.
Drive. There's so
Um,
much food
Lisa.
sitting here.
What you
Come
can
on
do
down.
though, you can pass
Oh.
me the cowboy candy from Lil Bird Kitchens.
Oh man, is this the hot one?
No, the
Oh.
candy.
Is this the hot one or no?
No.
This
No.
is okay. I do want
No,
to try this.
You
It's
wanna
pickled
get me-
jalapenos.
Oh my gosh!
You want me to grab the hot
Who
one?
is this? Is the guy that was
Yeah,
on?
this
Yeah.
is
Fred.
this is Fred Dudek.
You want me to get you the triple X?
amazing.
You want the hot stuff?
Let's
Yeah,
see
I
the-
do. Why not? I'm a
hot
hot
stuff?
guy. I'm a hot guy. Oh, I,
You think you're a hot?
I know.
Good luck.
My wife
Why
tells
don't
me
you
that all
save
the
it
time.
until after the mousse,
Right,
Yeah.
honey?
No, you don't. You want to eat
You
the
might
thing
need the
first.
mousse
You
to
might need
cut
the
it.
right?
Yeah,
We don't have
so-
any more creamer in the office, I don't think.
Yeah, I drank it straight,
Oh.
Mary.
That's
That's how hot it was.
you guys are insane. So now I
I'm
want
so
while they're
excited to
handing
try
out
this.
some hot
Yep.
like
Show the-
insanely hot.
Show everybody the label to
Here,
the.
let's just switch that over.
What is that?
Yeah.
Triple X?
Mm-hmm.
Be gentle.
That's the
I'm not
cowboy
eating that.
candy
I'm just gonna try just a little bit.
hot AF.
Yeah.
Triple
That's
X.
perfect.
Well,
We'll
it's,
try that from now.
The cowboy candy is literally, if you can think of a pickle, but
Yeah.
a sweet pickle, but with jalapenos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
amazing.
it.
delicious.
It's just pickled jalapenos.
That
I absolutely.
I'm
love
not brave
jalapenos.
enough
Yeah.
to try.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to try the triple. I'm not even going to try the cowboy candy.
First off, I love Brussels sprouts anyway, but those pickled sprouts are
I
Amazing.
feel like pickled
incredible.
asparagus is also
Asparagus is amazing too. Literally the only group, Mary, you know this, but the only food I really don't like, enjoy is onions. That's it. Everything else in,
I'm okay,
in
thanks,
the world I have no issues with. So
I'm gonna
So
tell
I
you
have to
what.
be careful if I come over and have mac and cheese at your house because I'm allergic to peanut butter, so I can have.
oh, yeah, you probably should ask that question
Yeah.
before I give you.
Well,
before I
I'm
give
not-
you
Is there
anything.
peanut butter in the potato?
I'm not allergic.
You
to
should have told me I put
peanuts.
peanut butter in a
Yeah.
pistachio.
Like peanuts, I'm fine.
I got a little
But
water right now.
peanut
Maybe
butter.
afterwards. So.
That's good to know,
Yeah.
though. Thank you.
But I won't
Jared,
die.
that brings up a great point. Like we were talking outside the show here, and like you have someone in your family for Thanksgiving or any kind of holiday meal. Like, what is your go-to dish that somebody's randomly showing up out of nowhere? Like you have what you have in your house right now to make. What's your go-to dish that's going to be able to appease no onions and no peanut butter and low sodium and whatever? I don't think you have any contingencies on your food.
Tomatoes.
So.
He doesn't like tomatoes.
You don't like tomatoes?
I don't like the red sauces.
Yeah.
You like, but you eat a whole tomato?
No, I'll have a slice of tomato on a hamburger or something.
Right.
Okay, cool. All right.
So my go-to is usually something like those stuffed mushrooms,
Mhm.
because almost everything that I make starts with onions and garlic. Onions, garlic, and wine, and depending on what I'm making, will determine whether it's a red wine or a white wine.
Wine.
Whatever.
That's why we don't drink before the show,
Right.
kids.
It's the grape leaves.
Yeah.
The salt is getting to me. I'm getting drunk on sodium chloride. No, but I usually go with that base, but because like today Derek doesn't like onions, so instead of making stuffed mushrooms with what you would normally do as a sausage or an onion or a garlic or whatever, Instead, I swapped out the onions and did shiitake mushrooms, which the way that shiitake mushrooms of most of the mushrooms caramelize, it gets that same Maillard reaction that brings like an umami flavor that onions do. So I can get that salted brown flavor. That between that and the pork and the garlic makes it, a little panko in there and some cheese and my cheese went bad. So
why do you know that?
I love food.
That's some serious food.
I'm first off, I'm mouth watering, even though I'm still eating right now. And shiitake mushrooms. I'm like, okay, I need to, stop drooling here. But it's a lot of information. Like you understand the physics of how food kind of meshes together.
Cool.
It's huge.
The number, and everybody asks me the trick, and I always tell them, and I hate that. I mean, I don't hate it because I actually like Amber L, the chef from Food Network, if you didn't know who that was. But she always says, brown is good. And she's right. And chefs, it's not news. But when you brown a steak, when you sear a steak, that's what happens. So you don't have to understand the physics behind it. But I've talked about it to death, where it's that Maillard reaction that you get that browning. And there's certain vegetables that lend really well to that. And not all mushrooms lend to that. Like shiitakes are just one of the few of all of the different. The other one is lion's mane, and thank you to Crystal Lake mushrooms for getting me addicted to that like crack.
I haven't had that, but those look delicious.
So they're hard to grow. They don't sell them anywhere around here. I looked. I tried.
You gotta go
even down to Chicago. Like they are not very easy to find. I'm sure you can order them on like Amazon and stuff like that, but I'm leery about ordering fresh food through Amazon. So I wait until she has a batch that's actually successful and she grows them, and you can slice. They almost look like a head of cauliflower and they're fuzzy, but they're the texture of a scallop and it's not as earthy as mushrooms are. So it's almost got this sweetness, but it literally browns like a scallop. It's absolutely fantastic, especially on a steak, but they're super hard to come by.
You just hit the sweet potatoes?
Yeah.
I heard it. Oh my God.
I heard it all face.
It's got a wonderful mesh of like everything.
Yeah.
Like it's a perfect combination.
I pulled all your Greek first.
Yep. That's what I did too.
Oh my God, that's good. And I'm just rotating my plate.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Oh,
So now-
stuff. This is
Yeah, that's toe curling good.
Yeah, see, you won't get anything to do with the sodium in there, but you might catch diabetes after you eat that.
Get yourself a little adult.
By the way,
Right.
I just had that.
That high AF.
High AF.
Yeah. Oh, you can swear.
I'm just gonna-
Actually,
Good
you
job.
really like to.
Got another one, Fred.
So I love hot stuff. It's not for me. It's not overpowering,
no,
but it's definitely
It's
it's
hot
one of
stuff.
those things where you really got to be careful
Yeah.
because if I were to take like a whole spoonful of this thing
Oh,
and like throw it in there, I'd probably
Right.
walk out of here and go back to my office and
Die.
find a nice corner in the back dark part of my office and pass out. But
you have to be
it's
gentle.
amazing. Like
Yeah.
a perfect flavor,
Oh,
not over these.
The cowboy candy.
Cowboy candy is definitely cowboy candy.
It's great.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I feel like a Tabasco sauce should just come off my
Yeah.
hip right now. And
Yeah.
ding. Yep. So
That's
But yeah,
fantastic.
so the cowboy candy hot AF triple X, and it just keeps growing on you.
It
And
does.
that's the
Mhm.
surpriser. It doesn't go away. It doesn't hit you quick.
Uh-uh.
It just kind of hangs in there and just keeps growing and growing in the back of your
I
mouth.
feel it right on the
Yeah.
left
There's
side of
an-
my tongue.
And there's something to be said because there's an art to making, and I'm going to drop some more crazy food crap on you.
Hot
But
stuff. This is so good.
when you think that it's as easy as putting a pepper into a jar and pickling it, and it is and it isn't. But when you cook peppers, a lot of times a lot of the heat cooks out of it, and you lose that heat. So there is a fine balance, and the problem is so many commercially made products, they just add capsaicin, which is just the hot shit. So they just add hot stuff to make it hot,
Because they boil
and then
it
you
away.
eat it, and then you're just
Yeah.
eating hot stuff, and it's not the same. You can actually taste the flavors of the peppers when it is made properly, and it's not just heat. It doesn't just blow out your palate. So
Well, yeah, and that's what he said, and he says that he cooks it at he gets it to
Right.
this heat
right at the
level,
threshold.
and then he cook it doesn't go up or down. He maintains it, so he's a genius with it. And if you have a chance, the price is right and they're great.
Nailed it. Yep.
If you know somebody who likes Bloody Marys, he's got dill green beans. Now green beans are
I love
for
green
me
beans.
are onions.
Oh, okay.
Because when I was a kid back in the 70s, of course, we lived on a 100-acre farm, had a huge thing. You had to weed the beans and pick the beans. And that was back in the day where you don't leave your till this is all gone. And I hated beans. Then my brothers are like, "Oh, open it up! Look, there's a booger in there." You know? And so green, yellow beans, string beans, whatever. I'll gag. I cannot.
I love them.
I love beans too.
What?
Did you make these yourself?
The potatoes?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is that why it tastes like vodka?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So have you guys ever had
very pleasant, very light, nice garlic flavor.
Mhm.
It doesn't. It's not
overpowering.
like this. It's.
I like
This
the
is very-
potato part of it because it's soft
Yeah.
but still firm. So
Yep.
when you bite into it, you still have like that chunk,
Just a smash.
but it's not like water.
I like when
But
there's
it's
other
not,
people
you
that
know.
talk on my show, so I can just shove my
That's
fat
right.
face with some food.
have you guys ever had kugel before? We
Mhm.
make that on
I
Thanksgiving.
don't
I'll
even know
take
what
some.
that is.
What?
So like when you said if somebody comes over to
Snuggle
your
my
house,
kugel.
Sure.
so if my grandma comes,
Uh-huh.
that's her dish.
Okay.
Like I have to make that.
So can you
it's-
tell me what's in it though?
So it's noodles, like
Okay.
egg noodles,
Mhm.
and cream cheese,
I'll do my best there,
and
Lisa, for you on that.
cinnamon, and a Rice Krispie cereal,
Oh, pickled eggs are good. I agree.
and I feel like I'm forgetting. Oh, there's egg in there. So like it's like a sweet noodle dish. It's basically kind of what it is with Rice Krispie cereal on top of it, and you
Sure.
brown it, and it's like has a little crunch to
Oh,
it.
that sounds awesome.
So that's my grandma's like go-to dish when she comes to my house.
Yep.
And
I'm really hard with people when they cook. I mean, you guys, honestly, like for me, like I stick with the foods that I like. I stick with the foods, and it's hard for me to eat somebody else's like what they call because everyone's palates are so different. And I feel like it goes with personality.
Mhm.
If you like someone's personality, you typically like their cooking
Mhm.
style because they kind of have that personality built into it. And it's funny because each part of it, here's super technical and really understands the concept of how to deconstruct and really pays attention to the ingredients that are inside. You have this light, fluffy Care Bear attitude to yourself. And I just said Care Bear, yeah, which comes out really good. And you have this spunky, funky, spicy, amazing deliciousness, which is what you are.
Lady.
And it's short, in there as well. So
kind of
Um,
thing to your sweet potatoes.
That's funny.
Napoleon potatoes, he calls them.
We need to get all the grandmothers together. We
We
need to get all the grandmas together to make a dinner. That would be fantastic.
So
It's a lot of
so-
chefs in the kitchen, man.
Oh, you're supposed to put it on a cracker?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Scooping it out.
So-
and
I'm
speaking
just
of racism-
scooping it out.
No, it's,
A couple weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving, I posted in our McHenry County Recipe Share group and the Fresh from the Farm McHenry County group that, what is your most catastrophic Thanksgiving story that you can now laugh about? And the stories were, some of them were just like, oh, okay, the turkey took extra long to cook. And some of them were downright, I almost burnt my house down. Fire department came, whole 9 yards. Like there's some crazy stories in there. And it's just funny to think that in preparation for this show, everything that I wanted to do went wrong. Even down to the fact that the turkey that I wanted for my husband and I, that was going to be big enough for me to make leftovers for this show, didn't happen. So I ended up getting a turkey breast from Fresh Time, which it was the last one they had,
Yeah.
frozen solid, like the day before Thanksgiving, made it work, and gave some lady who was freaking out because her turkey fell on the floor or something. So she was poking at all the birds and they're all frozen. So she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I said, you can cook it from frozen. You just got to figure it out. You just got to roll with it. It's just going to take longer.
yeah,
So
it's not
go
gonna take
home, put it in the
3.5
oven,
hours per pound.
keep it lower, cover it up, and take the cover off the last little bit to brown up the skin. You'll be fine. Cook it upside down. So she was all happy, goes home, and like everything that I wanted to do. So that's why today was stuffed mushrooms and chocolate mousse. And that's why there's crackers, because this morning it's 7:00. I don't like mornings. I want to sit and have my freaking coffee in my comfy pants. And I'm making stuffed mushrooms
In my
and French
comfy
silk pie.
We all have comfy pants. Come
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
House
Just go to
pants?
Walmart. Most
House
of the
pants?
people shopping there.
Dude, I get Croft and Barrow pants, which are from Kohl's. Thank you. But this is deconstructed. So you got to, instead of having a graham cracker crust, you got to put it on your graham crackers.
Oh.
the craziest, and this could probably go on Wine and with Dawn, but the new show on Wednesday nights. But the craziest Thanksgiving story was, now I'm the youngest of 4 boys, so it's just my mom and 5 dudes.
That explains everything,
right?
by the way, guys.
And we get done eating, and of course we all scatter. The men do, right? That's what guys do. We're watching football or whatever, and mom's doing mom stuff and cleaning up, and all of a sudden, and my mom, she makes you look tall, like she's 5 foot, right?
I got an inch on her.
So from the kitchen, you hear my mom go, "Oh my God, the house is on fire!" And none of us move. You can look out of the kitchen and you see the smoke.
Burn, baby.
You see the smoke, right? The what had happened was they see what had happened.
See what happened was
Is that some wires shorted out on the dishwasher. So they were sparking and smoking, and the house is filling up with smoke, and none of us moved. My mom was like, "I said the house is on fire!" And at which time, that was the spousal noise that made my dad go, I better get up.
Yeah. Some things I hate, guys. Something's on fire.
Us boys didn't move until my dad said, "Hey, this is on fire." And then we're all like, "Cool." And then we all moved.
That's funny.
But
Well, I don't like. I'll share a secret with you guys. I don't like the feeling of raw chicken skin or poultry skin in general. It will make me literally dry heave. So I cannot really prep a raw chicken. So someone else has to do it, meaning Rich. And so one time my mom made me stick my hand inside the turkey to pull the innards out.
Man.
And I lost it, and I'm like, I'm never doing Thanksgiving again. I had to go run into the bathroom, and I almost threw up from having to touch that.
That's
nope.
awesome.
So I could cook a chicken breast with no skin on it, fine. I could touch it, I'm fine. But that skin, nope.
That's hilarious.
I still to this day have not cooked my own turkey Thanksgiving.
Really?
Nope. So obviously my wife is Greek, and my mother-in-law obviously makes the best food in the entire world. So she always takes care of cooking. That's what they love to do, is cook. And it's so good. I can't say no to that ever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, yeah,
and she makes ribs, she makes ham, she makes turkey. She'll do all 3 of them every single Thanksgiving.
Oh.
So I haven't needed to. And my wife and I have been together for almost 13 years now. So it's a long time. And before that, it was my mother. Well, when I was on my own, it was always my tradition when I was traveling to just buy pizza on Thanksgiving. Number one, so my sister, her boyfriend or her husband just did his first turkey. And the amount of emasculating that I felt after he sent a picture of this gorgeous bird that he probably hand crested with a paintbrush about everything. It was like, man, I should probably learn how to make a turkey. But I'm so nervous about it because it's a process. It's not an easy thing to do.
So, with a lot of love.
Yeah.
I will post it again on my website this afternoon. I actually have, when I first got diagnosed and had to go low sodium, I made my first Thanksgiving because that was in the summer. And that first Thanksgiving, after going through the process, and I had a friend of mine, we were messaging back and forth because she was trying to salvage a stuffing or something. And she says, "You always make it look so easy." So I decided I'm going to write it all down. And it was one of the first things that I did, actually write the whole thing. So I wrote the whole Thanksgiving Day menu. It's also in the files on the Shaking the Salt Low Sodium group, but I'll have to share it with you because legitimately I wrote the process in which I cook a whole bird. And there's quite a few people to this day who every time Thanksgiving rolls around and somebody goes low sodium and they say, "How do I do this?" And it goes step by step exactly what you do, when you put it in the oven, when you put it in the tray, when you turn the oven, when you do this,
So
when
now
you do that.
You just gave my secret away now. I wish you would have told me that off air because my wife's going to know when I go to actually cook this thing, it comes out good. It won't be because of me. It'll be because of you.
No, because you'll be doing it.
Rich
You
and
just
Eli,
I just
follow
followed the
instructions,
directions. That's all.
Rich and Eli
It's just
grind
hard
their
for
own
guys to
spices.
do, by the way.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Rich and Eli so Rich is showing Eli how to cook or whatever. And so they'll grind their own spices, make their own thing. Rich does a 2-day steeping process for the brine. And then it sits overnight in the brine and then he smokes it with an apple, and I think there's like a lemon and an onion or whatever inside the bird. And but yeah, he'll smoke it outside.
That's a lot of work.
So
That's
now-
all I gotta do.
It's
Kudos to all
3
the
or
people
4
that-
days to make the turkey.
that cook all the time.
My
Kudos.
Thanksgiving
That's all I gotta say.
story. My first Thanksgiving that I cooked. Ben and I had our brand new house that we built over in McHenry. My family's out. Both my sisters are there. One from at the time was in South Dakota. And then my sister lives here. Like my in-laws are in town, everybody, the whole 9 yards.
Thanks, babe.
So I have all of it. Everything's prepped and set, and I'm running around like a crazy hostess always does. And I look at my sisters. I'm like, "You got this, right?" I literally just need to go upstairs and wash the stank off because I have not showered, and everybody's in my house. Yep, you're good. Go up and shower. Like super speedy, quick 10-minute shower. As soon as I turn the water off, I hear my niece say that the oven's on fire.
No.
My what?
Like,
So
oh,
I
fires
like
around how
threw
they're done
right.
around here.
So I throw clothes on real quick, come running downstairs, and the first thing out of my sister's mouth, "Oh, we got it. We got plenty of help here. We shut the oven. We're all good." The problem was my sister was supposed to bring the roasting pan because I didn't have one big enough for the bird, and she didn't. And then that was like, it'll be fine on a cookie sheet. I don't know if you've ever cooked any poultry whatsoever. It releases a lot of juice.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how much I know about food. I will forever, the entire eternity of my entire lifetime, when my sisters are alive, I will be the baby sister. That is flat out rules of siblings.
Can't you understand that?
I am the baby sibling, so I will be the baby sister. So you cannot tell anybody otherwise. It will be fine. Sure enough, I go upstairs, everything boiled over, the little tiny cookie sheet with the little tiny lip that's only an inch tall, and the grease lit my brand spanking new double Fisher Paykel oven on fire. Now we got it under control and everything was fine and Thanksgiving was saved. But of course I could laugh about it now. I think it's hilarious that, my big sister lit my oven on fire because, who doesn't like to say that? So
I'm the oldest sibling. Well, just me and my
so
brother.
you were the torturous one then.
Yeah, I'm the
you were the
oldest
one
too.
that
I'm
picked
like
on
the
your...
oldest of my entire family of all the grandkids and everything. It's so
you guys are the mean ones, huh?
I threw my sister in a bush from time to time.
We know.
I
We're
definitely-
kindred spirits over here.
I get it.
My sister is also, she's 20, so our youngest is my youngest sister is 20, so it's crazy the difference. And
Mhm.
again, personality and food likes.
Yep.
My sister won't eat anything but like two foods, and that's it. Super picky about everything that she eats. Or me and my brother, we did, we weren't the wealthiest family in our hometown, so food was eat what you eat. A lot of mashed potatoes, a lot of hot dogs and home fries,
Mm-hmm.
and so you can appreciate everything. But there's a whole world of food that you just don't realize is there. And Mary's opened up a whole other world of LoSo. LoSo that I've never thought that could taste good with no salt,
It's
which
so
is great.
true.
Yeah. So
But
when you make chicken soup,
Mhm.
my grandma puts the chicken foot in there.
Mm-hmm.
Chick-fil-A.
And then my grandpa used to suck on the
Oh,
chicken toes
cartilage?
while he's
Yeah.
eating his soup.
So that's the thing that
That's what we grew up with.
you were.
I'm trying
Chicken
real hard not
toes?
to make a couple snaps here. But I'm gonna keep it
That's
quiet.
like menudo. Is it menudo? No. Is it menudo?
Yeah, that's
Pig's feet.
I thought that was a singing group from Mexico.
It's like a stew.
Yes,
It
with
was.
chickpeas and whatever. But and it's the same thing. The cartilage in the pig's foot
I know.
that makes it fantastic, which is actually it's really really good for you.
You're learning all sorts of stuff, Kev. Look at you. Your mind is blown.
I'm like,
I know you
now-
guys can't see anything other than his forehead.
Right?
His
Now,
eyes are glazed over.
The funny thing is when I love to cook, and I'll cook all the time, but I cook by taste. I don't cook by sight, and I don't cook by recipe necessarily. So my kids, my family, hate it when I cook because they don't understand.
Mhm.
But then they go, "Oh, well, that's pretty good." Once they try it, but it takes oh God, no, Dad. So last night I was making dinner, and I shared with you, and we had wieners in the straw. So I took macaroni and cheese, got rid of the elbow macaroni, and used angel hair pasta.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Fantastic.
And then,
That's good.
of course, to make it a delicacy, you chop up the hot dogs. in.
Perfect.
So it was wieners in the straw
That's
instead of
fantastic.
it was delicious. Now, your mind, as I was saying last night, your mind is saying, well, this is ramen noodles
Right.
because it kind of has that same look and texture.
Yeah.
But your mouth is going, this is macaroni and cheese with hot dogs.
Yeah, it might be empty when you come back. By the way.
Yeah.
So you always eat with your eyes first, but that's why what I kind of create, my creations are always a little bit. They taste great, but it takes your mind to go, hey, wait a minute, this isn't ramen. This is.
It's funny because so many people have said, I should make more videos, and as everybody sees, Stephanie's cutting out. She's got other obligations.
Yeah.
Thanks for our sweet potatoes. Have a good one.
Yeah, she's got to go eat. She's gonna actually go eat.
Right? She's got a lunch. So it's weird. Well, yeah. There we go. Zoom right in and on. Now Ken's got a duck.
Makeup, please.
Yeah,
right?
makeup. Is that high def? Holy shit, that's
cow.
bad.
You were really ugly.
That's
Yeah.
Yes. Got a little shine to you there.
Right.
Oh, that's
Soften that
hilarious.
up a little bit.
Here, eat some more hot stuff, okay?
Yeah, no.
Sweating.
It's funny that you talk about like me and my low sodium food, and one of the first things that I remember was that I could taste the difference in potatoes. Not like sweet potato versus a regular potato. I'm talking like russet potatoes versus new potatoes, and yellow potatoes and wax potatoes and purple potatoes, and the difference between all of these things. And my husband and I have talked about this quite a bit, where you hear all of these chefs say that a real chef can't cook without salt. They need seasoning. And he says, I think it, and this was just a couple weeks ago, he said, I think it's the exact opposite. He goes, if you can make food taste good without salt, that means you're making the actual food itself taste good.
Yep.
So last night I had kind of an aha moment. I don't know if it's true. It's just what I've justified in my brain, because I keep saying, how is it that my low sodium soups taste so good? And then when you make a low sodium soup, or when you buy it from the store, it's gross. Not only is it bland, but it has this funky taste to it. And you're like, what is it? So you know what I was wondering is, I wonder if when you look at the back of an ingredient label, and there's all these things that you can't pronounce that are preservatives, dioxides and whatever's and blah, blah, blahs. So I'm like, without the salt to mask all those preservatives, I bet you any money that's that off-putting flavor that I'm tasting every single time I eat a low sodium soup. Because Kent and Pete have both had my soups, and they are 100% low sodium, under 200 milligrams for 2 cups, a whole big thing of.
And they're 100% good.
Right.
Yeah, they don't need salt.
The potato soup that I made is one of the most difficult to make potatoes unsalted. If you over salt a soup or a sauce, throw a potato in it. It will literally absorb the salt from the sauce and make it less salty.
I know that.
So if you make a red sauce or a soup or whatever, and you go, holy crap, I just ruined this, throw a whole freaking peeled potato in there raw, and it will soak up the salt. Yeah.
I didn't know.
Chilies, everything.
I swear I missed like some growing up part of cooking that I just didn't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how
I researched this shit.
Yeah,
Other than my dad teaching me how to make navy bean soup, biscuits and gravy, and what was the other one? I could grill.
Two things.
Chili.
2 things you need to know. Cast iron.
Yes.
Get good cast iron. Season it properly. And that's what you cook on. Don't go for any of this non-stick stuff.
Yep.
Because the flavors that come off of a cast iron skillet or cast iron pan are just unbelievable. The next is fire.
Yeah.
You can put it on top of a fire and cook it, especially in cast iron. Even better. Forget about it.
Well, we're talking about labels and stuff. I lost 50 pounds last year. Actually, 2 years ago, I should say. I gained most of it back. Unfortunately, if my trainer was ever watching this, he'd yell at me. But
it's muscle.
It is. It's all muscle.
Golly,
you're blowing up today, man. That's good. The amount of stuff that they put in food, because what they had you do is they tracked everything, and he would calculate all the calories and everything that I needed to eat. and I felt so restricted because it's like a world that. And I'd go to the grocery store and I'd catch myself. I mean, I lost 50 pounds. Felt great. Did a really good job. Like diets really do matter, and what goes in your body matters. This is my quarantine 50 is what I'm going to say on there as well. But when you go to the grocery store, you automatically go to the back. I read the labels on almost everything. Whether I pay attention to them right now or not is my wife is going to do that as well. And Art, there you go, right there. See, yep. I'm saying I read it. It's not that I don't eat it. I do eat it.
I read the back of the ice cream container, and I still take it home with me.
Exactly.
I doesn't know what I'm eating.
But there's just a lot of stuff that you put in your body that you just don't realize is giving such a negative effect to you. And it's in everything. Not that this, by the way, this is delicious.
Right.
Sorry, I'm just holding it as a reference.
Once I found my balance, and it's all of my doctors say that I'm the poster child for liver disease. And there's a lot of people that said I must have been misdiagnosed. Like you realize when you have advanced decompensated cirrhosis of the liver, I had my blood tested every week for 8 months. I had to test my heart, like the blood pressure, everything, every single day. I had to weigh myself every day to see how much water I was retaining or not retaining, and so on and so forth. Like the chance of me being misdiagnosed is pretty slim, especially when you look at the ultrasound and see what my liver looks like. But once I found my balance, and there's so much more to it than just sodium. But I was at the store and I wanted something to drink and I didn't want water. So I'm looking through the chiller cabinet of what I can drink and what's the least harmful to me. And I saw a flavored water. So I was like, all right, I'll do that. And it killed me for 3 days. No sodium, no additives. All it says is natural flavorings, because unless it's something regulated by the FDA, which that's a whole other conversation. Unless it's something regulated by the FDA, they don't necessarily have. That's why they can get away with putting spices, because unless it's proven to be something that people are allergic to or have problems with or interacts with medications. But it was the red dye. It took me 3 or 4 times of drinking something with coloring in it to realize that for my body to process, because it's not that my liver can't do what it needs to do. It's that if you have ever been on a tollway and they shut 5 of the lanes down because of construction, and you go from 72,000 lanes down to 2, so my body can, eventually everybody gets through. It's the same concept. I can process all of it. So if I wanted to eat and drink, I'll do garbage, whatever. It's just, the problem is that just sits and circulates in my blood and builds up as ammonia in my brain until my liver can filter it. So it'll get through. It's just a really tiny, tiny thing. But that simple little red dye is what screwed me up. Jeez. So it's not just, so when I eat, if I eat a meal like this, like if I went to Thanksgiving at your house and it's all homemade stuff and it was laden with salt, I would be okay. I know how to recover from that, because the next few days I can up my potassium level, drink more water, and I can do things to mitigate that's in my body, because what you're serving me is real food. When it's out of a can, I have a whole other host of problems. So if I'm going to splurge, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to a restaurant that makes their food, or I'm going to go to a house that makes their food. So I can be able to go to someone's place and not have to freak out about it if I know that it's made from scratch. So when you tell me that, like, oh, well, I bought the pie at Jewel, well, I'm going to skip the pie and I'm going to stick with the pasticcio because your mom made it, you know?
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference. It makes an absolutely huge difference.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier when you have somebody that you know what's being put in, and you're going.
Right.
I cook meats. That's what I can cook. I in terms of baking and all this other specialty stuff, I just don't know how to do it. It's just how it comes down to. But I can definitely cook a mean steak, put the right amount of seasonings on there and stuff like that, and make it the way I like it. But I know what's in it because it's just steak and seasonings. There's really nothing else crazy in there other than my crazy sauces I put on.
So yeah, to me, I don't look like I do because I'm afraid to eat, right? And I've lost 25 pounds in the last 3 or 4 months. But the whole thing is, I'll sit and watch. I love watching Bobby Flay. I love watching Gordon Ramsay, Graham Elliott. Those are some of my, and you see them do this. They're cooking something. You see them do this with the salt.
Handful at a time.
And you're like, that's a piece of fish.
Right.
And they're like, just dropping salt everywhere, right? Flavor. Or when you get to the judging table, if you haven't done that, there's no seasoning on here,
Right.
meaning there's no salt. But once you start to cook and read and understand that a lot of that salt, some of the aches and pains in your body and your joints is because of the salt that you throw in there.
Yeah.
And then you start cutting that back. And I mean, if I go to McDonald's now and have some of their fries, it burns my mouth.
It does.
Not the temperature.
Right.
How much salt they have on it.
Yep.
Where you used to be like, yeah, give me 2 large fries, 3 Big Macs, and let's go to work, right? But things, and in my family, because we are some of the wealthiest people on our block, at least 3 times to 4 times a week, we're a hamburger helper family, right? And you never realized until you start cutting out and eating properly and giving your body what it needs, that, oh my gosh, what's inside of this hamburger
Sauce
helper?
packet.
Wow. Makes you pucker. I mean, it's amazing.
A hamburger. I mean, I'm no stranger to hamburger helper either, because like your family, mine is.
We got a wealthy establishment over here.
Now you're probably one of those shake and bake people too, aren't you? One of those.
Oh, my mom used to make that.
No shake and bake.
No. That's pretty much.
My question is, did you have box cereal in your house, or did you have the bag cereal? In
We've
your
got
house? Bags.
I got Frosted Flakes. I was a high roller.
Hey, they're great.
Yep. My mom used to yell at me all the time about that box.
You still do the Captain
No,
Crunch.
I still do the Captain
I love
Crunch.
Captain Crunch, by the way.
Captain Crunch crusted grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I like that.
You're speaking my language right now.
Tried that.
Have you
It's
tried the
so good.
I have not done the Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
on the grilled peanut butter?
Oh, yeah.
That
There's
does sound
nothing
good.
better than
I-
peanut butter. I'm sorry. Like,
I grill
I'm
peanut
with
butter
you.
and jelly.
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I'll get ice cream and I'll get peanut butter with a little bit of ice cream. I mean, literally, that's just how it works.
The only bad. What do you go, Jif? Are you a Skippy Jif? What do you go?
See, for me, it doesn't. It's not like my Jif is my go-to because
Yeah,
it's in my
always.
in my it's got the richest flavor to it, richest whatever. But
Salt.
it doesn't matter. Salt,
salt,
sugar.
That's all it is. It's salt and
But I'm not really picky about it because I've had natural peanut butter that's been amazing. It's like barbecue sauce. Like there's like a whole world, and barbecue sauce is my second favorite thing in the world.
Powdered peanut butter. Have you had that?
I have not had powdered peanut butter
No.
before. I need to try that.
So it's great for like if you're doing
Adding
smoothies.
something.
If you're doing smoothies,
Sounds good.
or you do a little protein shake or something like that.
Yeah, because I've eaten a protein shake in the past year.
You can, because one of my favorite snacks now is frozen fruit
Oh yeah.
and a little scoop of protein powder,
peanut butter protein powder.
and water, and then you throw a spoon of peanut butter in there,
Oof.
and it's the best smoothies. And it's very, I mean, outside of the peanut butter, it's really pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, there's nothing.
But the
better.
peanut butter adds just such a good flavor.
I don't know. I have peanut butter all the time. There's quite a few no salt options that you can get. My go-to is the Smucker's honey because it's just peanut butter and
That
honey.
is good. That is good.
So
Yeah.
it's
Peanut butter honey is delicious. I can do that with like a nice bread.
Anything.
Anything.
See, no, it's funny because-
Whatever. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Again,
when I
I'll
sit
put it on
here
peanut
and-
butter. I'll put it on pizza if I need to. I don't care.
this is what is my nemesis is every time someone says something that they like, I want to go home and make it.
Yeah, me too.
It-
That's why I don't watch those
So
cooking
stay
shows.
with me. Stay with me.
Okay.
On this. You're gonna love this.
It
Okay.
drives me crazy because every time I'm bound by some stupid OCD thing in my brain to go, you want a peanut butter pasticcio? I'm going to figure out how to make that. Nicole, who is my partner in crime with all my groups, she wanted tomato jam from her childhood in Pennsylvania. And I was like, all right, I'll make you potato. Let's do this. So I'm going
Challenge
to make you tomato jam.
accepted.
If you could make a peanut butter
Yeah.
pasticcio, I would be very impressed.
Now,
Go ahead.
here's the deal.
Sure way.
A little peanut butter aioli. So
Okay.
for your hamburgers,
Ooh.
I've made that.
So you take that peanut butter, a little mayo, you mix it up really nice.
Okay.
And
Wait, can I stop for a second?
Yeah.
You said peanut butter mayo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here you want a really funny story. Nobody understands that. I love peanut butter and mayo together. So I will go to what's the place, the Potbellies.
Mm-hmm.
Potbellies,
Yeah.
okay, and they have a pizza sandwich. Okay,
Yep.
I will put peanut butter and mayo on that sandwich, and they literally refused at one point. There was a store I went to, and I was like, "Oh, can you put mayo on there?" And they're like, "Why are you gonna put mayo with peanut butter?" It said, or with this pizza, and I said, "It's just what I like. It's just the hit of flavor." And then I put my own peanut butter on it, and I don't care. As weird as it is, it's what I like to eat.
Yeah,
peanut butter mayo, delicious combination. Nobody really
put it on a hamburger.
Ooh,
unbelievable.
Okay.
With a little banana.
Kiki, we're having peanut butter, hamburger, mayo sandwiches tonight. Just
Listen, a grilled burger with that peanut butter aioli, which is basically for those non-foodie people, right? Mayonnaise, is out freaking standing.
I'm gonna have to do that.
Outstanding. I'll put peanut butter on my waffles, on my pancakes, on eggs,
Definitely.
whatever. I put it everywhere. I mean,
it's a great taste to it.
I do a peanut butter waffle sandwich when I'm in a real hurry.
Well, that's fantastic. I used to do that a lot. Peanut butter and jelly waffles.
It actually stays nice in the car too when you're trying to eat and go.
it's true.
Well, it's
Right, if you're ever starving and you see a Gold Shield truck, there's probably a tub of peanut butter underneath the front seat.
Just know.
Actually, I have a belt connection for it.
It's like the pump. It's like the insulin pump.
Needs. They've got you covered in peanut butter.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's why I love sharing my food so much. Is that
there's a bunch of other weird people in the world that
Right.
eat weird stuff.
You learn a lot about people through their food and what they'll eat, and to trust, in all honesty, to trust somebody to hand you something that they made and eat it. And my husband and I are really weird about that. Bringing something home. I don't know. Do you wash my husband's OCD. He washes his hands 1,000 times a minute.
Wait a second, your husband's OCD? No way.
Gosh, I forget that you've been in our house. But to bring something home and go, okay, I have cats. I have to clean every surface in my kitchen before you guys get to, because I'm sorry. I don't know who you are. If you think you can tell a cat to stay off a counter, they will when you're watching. And then you peer around the corner and they're sitting their little dirty ass and their little cat littered feet on your countertop or your stove or whatever. So
you gotta wash constantly.
Right. So
Cats
it's like,
retarded.
are you that way? You know what I mean?
Love cats.
So to let somebody take my food and be like, no, especially now during stupid fucking zombie crap. And people, oh yeah, no, I'm okay with it. What do you got? Soup? I'll take it.
Here's what's messed up with
all the
cat
time.
people.
You're gonna mess up with cat people?
They feed them in the bathroom and they put their cat litter in the kitchen.
Nope.
No. Mine's in the
So
laundry room.
where's your cat litter at?
In the laundry room.
Okay. So where do you feed? Where do you feed them?
In the laundry room.
Okay.
They're like right next to each other.
So mine is in the basement, and I actually built a room in my basement with a cat door. So the dog can't fit in there, but the cats can fit in there. And it has its own light inside of there, and it's completely at the bottom of the stairs to the right.
I would do that
and
if I
then we
could.
feed our animals in our in another room, but nowhere near kitchen areas.
So
or
my
anything.
buddy, who's also a plumber, created kind of the same thing,
Oh, I love it.
a huge cat house kind of box, and vented it out.
Yep.
So
it's the one thing I don't like is cat. Like
Yes.
the only, I mean, we have two cats and a dog. Is the cat smell,
Yeah.
right? So the cat box
always.
smell, and you know that person in your circle of people
Yep.
that is a cat person that has
smells like cat piss.
ammonia.
Yeah.
It's the worst smell in the entire world. Yeah, if you vent it properly, if you
Yep.
do it correctly, like you will not have that smell throughout your house, and that's really good. So yeah.
Oh yeah, we've been big. And
There's certain litters and things you can get.
Oh,
to
yes.
help significantly with that.
see, my thing is that our house is it's 100 years old, and there's about 1 million places to get in and out of. So we know that the first floor is safe. So until we know the basement and the upstairs, I'm not going to end up having to break open a 100-year-old stucco wall and
Highly
cut
recommend
through
that,
some
too.
lathe to get one of my cats out of there. I'm just not going to risk it. So unfortunately, ours is in the live.
We actually got a call about that. Cat and
I
duck work.
believe it.
Cat and duck work.
Duckwork.
Yeah, they just called us and hey, cat, it's kitten, and we actually didn't go to the call because of what she said, and there's a service charge for sending somebody out to your house when you're dealing with something like that because we got to
Right.
pull some ductwork apart, and it was a kitten, and it had gone in the grates and out the grates, and it was literally using it as a canal to different rooms of the house. And I was like, well, my suggestion, owning cats myself, is they make little grates that have chicken wire or anything like that so that they can't get in there. She was happy about it and called it a day. But cats will go anywhere
Oh,
you
yeah,
don't
they
want
will.
them to go. I
They
mean,
will.
they will, and they fit everywhere, which is the best part.
But that's the thing. So
They
it's
don't go in my house.
when you have
You're a lucky
someone
man.
bringing you stuff from their home
Yes,
and
right.
you're trusting that they don't, that they're okay cleaning everything and doing everything. Like, to me, there's a certain, so when someone takes the food that I make, especially when I give them something and tell them there's no salt in it. And I tell people, I want you to be honest. Like, I'm legitimately trying to write a cookbook. So I want you to be honest, because the whole point is to make food that other people will eat. Because just because I don't expect my husband to not eat salt. He does, because he's my husband. And over the years, now he doesn't need to add salt to anything. He adds hot sauce to everything, but that's because it doesn't matter if he's going to add hot
He's
sauce to it.
kind of guy.
You do hot sauce on everything,
Right.
too?
He puts hot sauce in his coffee.
In his coffee.
That doesn't. I mean, listen, we
He
just
ate
talked about peanut butter and mayo. You can't judge the guy when we're. I mean, come on, man. We got a little weirdness going over here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm cool with you. How's
He
that?
ate the hot AF XXX yesterday for breakfast.
I believe it.
It tastes great.
Put it on
I'm
waffles.
telling you right now, it's amazing. So
It was a wonderful. It gives you a nice little. You cannot overdo that stuff. It will rip you apart.
Yeah.
If you think
Oh
you're-
yeah, I did.
Just the smell of it made my brain hurt.
I'm
See,
telling
but
you.
that's what my husband, like the
it's got a
hot-
kick. It's
the
got
Chinese
it's
hot
got a
mustard.
kick to it.
When you get Chinese food and you get the hot mustard,
Yeah.
to me, it smells like a brand new vinyl shower curtain. It is so off-putting. And if
Yeah.
it doesn't cause a stroke-like effect in the back of my husband's brain, it's not good enough. He's like, it's just not, I don't know, something's wrong with this hot
Everything
mustard.
okay,
Like,
Ben?
what are you doing?
Yeah, no, he just had a little hot mustard. He's fine.
Yeah, no.
Just curled in the corner. He's
That's it.
sweating.
He'll be fine.
And he will. You'll see him. He
Not
gets
what
this.
is happy as he
Oh,
can
and he gets this look on his face, like, "Oh my god, my brain's gonna pop!" And oh, that was good. And then he, and then he puts more on.
Yeah.
That's how Pete was. He's wiping tears and
Yes.
sweat and snot. He's like, "Oh, it's really good."
There's no better feeling than
Have
you eat
another
something
bite.
that hot,
Right.
and literally your sinuses are like.
Oh,
It's like you literally are just taking your lungs out of your body and put them into fresh air.
I can't.
There's no better
True.
fresh air feeling of like clarity in the world.
So
So
it does, and,
um,
and Mary actually gave me the Tabasco scorpion,
scorpion.
sauce, which
Mhm.
is on my
Yeah.
desk, and that's what I've been shaking recently into my coffee in the morning.
Oh, by the way, Ben tried it and he agrees. It's actually nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's
and of
really
course,
good.
that is Death Wish coffee,
Yeah, right. That's Wish
Wish
coffee with a
coffee.
little Tabasco scorpion
Right.
sauce in it.
It's
world's
just-
strongest coffee, Death Wish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hashtag Death Wish
with a
Coffee
little
Company.
Scorpion Tabasco is
Yeah.
lovely. It
See, this
really
is like this. I could do
So
this
you-
all the time.
Fred wants to know, you're going to get a hot of the jar of the hot AF for your husband?
I did
I
give
am.
her a bit of what he
I'm going to
left
bring some
me
for him to try, but I'm going to
Yeah.
have to order some of
for
your
her
stuff
to
because
take
I want the
home,
caviar.
And if he likes
Oh,
it, I imagine.
The honey bourbon mustard caviar.
Oh my
So
God,
I've
that's
done pickled mustard seeds before, and if you've ever had like a Dijon mustard or a whole grain mustard, where that's similar, where the mustard seeds are actually it's absolutely fantastic. Those stuffed mushrooms that I made, if you put some of that on top of there, is amazing.
Oh, that would be delicious.
Yeah. So the other way to use that caviar, so you guys have had the bread that I make. That's the rolled garlic bread.
Yep.
So
I
instead
have
of
not, so
no,
I can't. I'll
Yeah.
say that it's probably good because honestly,
I'll
It
bring
is
you
for
some.
sure.
But it's so if you roll it out flat, or rolling pin, whatever, so it's flat like a sheet of pizza, and then you put Parmesan or Asiago cheese and fresh garlic, and if you put some of that caviar mustard and then roll it, so when it's almost like if you've ever had a pre-sliced garlic roll, it's just that's what it is. It's pre-made slices of garlic bread with garlic bread rolled inside of it. And when you add that mustard seed, it's absolutely to die for. So I got to get some of that caviar so I can make that. And apparently now I got to make an extra loaf so I can bring some over to Gold Shield Services.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. And if you need some great condiments, of course, Lil Bird Kitchens, LILBIRD Kitchens. Check them out on Facebook. These guys are great. Fred's a good friend of the station. But check them out. Great gifts for the holidays right here.
yeah, and I
Absolutely.
can honestly tell you from somebody who's never had it before, it tastes amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is. I've seen him on the show a couple times. I have no correlation to him whatsoever, and that is some good stuff, man. So honestly,
And of course,
very good.
Mary, how do they get a hold of you if they need more information?
Oh, mylosolifestyle.com. And then, of course, support me, support my station, our YouTube channels, My LoSo Lifestyle, and 216 the net. The more subscribers we get, the more we get to do. So please go to YouTube and subscribe to our channels. And then, of course, both of us have our Facebook page, My LoSo Lifestyle, and 216 The Net. I don't know that we will be here next Thursday. I think I have to work. So we'll have to figure out what next Thursday's show going to be, whether we're going to do a best of or if I'm going to pre-record something. We'll see what
We'll
we
figure
have
it
to
out. We'll figure it out. And of course, goldshieldtoday.com. Not tomorrow,
and
but today.
Stephanie was here, Steph's Books.
Yep.
So don't forget her either. Thank you, Steph's Books.
And I just got to throw one more quick plug in here. So we do carry the iWave and UV technologies to help with cat smells in the house and indoor air quality. 847-376.
Oh, that's the thing. I just did. I thought it
Phone
was
number
his accent.
847-376
8094.
8094.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. All
Woot,
right.
woot.
It's time to say
Goodbye to
goodbye.
everybody in Facebook
Doo, doo,
land.
doo, doo.
Oh my God, these beautiful Brussels sprouts. I'm gonna like the chili sprouts.